Hey everybody, since Wicked for Good is coming out next week, I'm bringing you today this Glinda Inspired Makeup Look. We're dealing with a lot of pinks, which is one of my comfort colors, so this makeup look really spoke to me. And I added these little pearls to kind of match Glinda's bubble. For my base, I'm going to use a light layer of foundation. I don't like to cake on makeup, so just doing it how I feel comfortable, basically. I always like to modify, even when I do kind of cover makeup looks, I like to modify them in a way that it still feels right to me. So I'm adding some concealer and setting that afterwards so that it lasts just a little longer and doesn't slip around. I'm using quite a few REM Beauty products today, and that just comes down to the fact that some of these are just essential and one of my favorites. So I'm using my Solar Storm Satin Matte Bronzer from REM Beauty. And as you can tell, I go in many times with my bronzer because I prefer to do light layers and build up instead of just looking too orange at once. The actual star of the show has to be the Cherry Blossom Blush Palette from REM Beauty that came out as a Wicked collaboration. It's the only thing I got from the collection, and as you can see at the side, it's a little reel that I had done, a little short video. It is beautiful if you love pinks. I love the different colors and finishes you get, so I have been getting a lot of use out of this palette. And I also was on vacation not too long ago, and the big mirror in it was absolutely amazing for getting ready in the morning in the hotel room, because I had like no decent mirror there. This in front of a big window was perfect. I added the matte shade first, then I moved along to the middle shade that has a little bit of a shimmer. And then I'm adding the glowy blush right at the tops of my cheekbones. And I just love how this looks. Now I'm using my REM Beauty highlight topper in the shade Miss Mercury. I couldn't resist. I had to rebuy this. Mine broke. I tried to tell myself that I don't need it, but then Sephora was having a sale and I just grabbed it, and I'm happy I did. For my eyes, I'm using the 2AN Better Me Eye palette in the shade Dreaming. It has a lukewarm pink kind of tone. I have noticed that too cool of a pink on the eye is not really flattering for my skin tone, because I do feel I lean quite neutral. So these tones of pink are just perfect. And as usual, I start with the matte shade, then I add glitter and highlight points to my eye makeup look. I'm lining my eyes very naturally. I don't wear falsies, and I also don't think that a wing would look good with this look, because as we see in a lot of clips, Glinda just has a little bit of a smoked out wing, but I also didn't feel too comfortable doing it in black. So just for, again, modifying it for myself, I'm just using the darkest brown of the palette and just creating a soft brown wing instead. I feel like this way it's wearable for every day and doesn't look too crazy. I'm adding some mascara, coating my lashes as neatly as I can, trying to separate them, which with this wand from Maybelline, the Sky High, is not that difficult. Now the brows, I'm just doing them how they usually are. I guess that this makeup look is mostly inspired by the tones and the finish maybe, but not too much trying to actually do like a transformation. So my brows are going to be filled in how I usually fill them in, and setting them down with some brow gel, which without brow gel, I don't leave the house. For my lips, I'm using another REM Beauty product. This is the Practically Permanent Lip Marker in the shade Booked and Busy. It's a pretty mauve color, and I do this very slowly, carefully, because it is a stain. So I try to make it look as even as possible, blend it in with my finger, and it is just perfect. Like for day-to-day when I'm working, it's perfect because it lasts very long. I wanted to add obviously a pink gloss, so I'm using the Romance Glass in Color gloss in the shade Peony Ballet, the most perfect pink. And for that extra fairy-like sparkle and shimmer, I'm adding the Essence Pearly Potion Lip Gloss. This is the finished look. This is the skin up close. I'm trying to do something with my hair. I have such fine hair that nothing looks good on me. Here I'm adding the little pearls, and this is the look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know, and I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, please take care. Bye bye.